Hello, everyone, and welcome to our class about forgiveness. How are you doing? How was this period for you? Did you have many challenges or not? Have you done some new realizations and growing your wisdom and your health? So, welcome to our class about forgiveness. This is a very special theme that we're going to go very deep into this in these 10 weeks. Just helping here someone. So, are you ready for this journey about forgiveness? It's a very special one, and it's something that at any stage of our life cultivation, of our growth, it's important to have with us because we, through a process of learning and growing, we do face many challenges and we do a lot of mistakes. And without forgiveness, we can be blocked and not be able to keep going, keep growing, and keep learning in a very deep sense. So, if you are new to these classes, I recommend you to watch my previous classes on YouTube. They are there for free. On those classes, especially the older ones, you can learn some basic terms, some basic structure of the class. As we do always, the class starts with building the chi field. If you don't know how to do it in this your first time, you just need to follow my voice instructions. Then we have the lecture, and at the end we'll have an integration and healing of what we have talked about the class in the class. So let's start first with building the chi field together and unify our hearts, the hearts of all the participants. Adjust yourself to a good position with your spine straight, your body centered. Look straight forward and slowly bring your awareness inward to the center of your head. Close your eyes and relax. Relax. Relax your head and face. Relax the neck, the shoulders, arms and hands. Relax the chest and upper back. Relax the abdomen and lower back. Relax the hips, legs, and feet. Relax all your body from the top of the head to the toes, from inside out. Relax your heart. Relax your mind. Feel all your structure completely relaxed. You feel so relaxed that everything starts to melt away, opening up. Awareness inside of the body. Feel the emptiness and spaciousness within. With your awareness, you go deep inside the body, deep inside the cells, the atoms, subatomic particles, deep inside the void, and you become so small that there is no space for more. And contemplate all the peace and quietness there. The void has no opposition, no boundaries, no limitations. And through the void, expand your awareness out in all directions, free and happy. We expand out, becoming one with the universe. We expand and dissolve ourselves in the void of the universe. And we become so big that there is no space for more. And contemplate all the peace and quietness there. And bring the awareness back to the body, calm and peaceful. Connect with your heart and open your heart to all the universe with reverence and utmost gonging, through respect and humility. And let the bright universe nourish your heart with compassion and love. Feel relaxed, free, and joyful. Chi is flowing harmoniously and smoothly. Go deep into your heart, your pure heart, and in this state of purity, connect your heart with my own heart. And also with Yonsei, Melissa, and everyone in this chi field. Let's connect and unify our hearts. And always remember The strength of our hearts unified is exponential. So together we're gonna connect and manifest the five Shin, or the five essential heart qualities. We start to connect with a state of unconditional trust. And give trust to everyone. Receive trust from everyone. Dissolve yourself into trust and be trust. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional openness and give openness to everyone. Receive openness from everyone. Dissolve yourself into openness and be openness. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional love and give love to everyone. Receive love from everyone. Dissolve yourself into love. You are love. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional gratitude and give gratitude to everyone. Receive gratitude from everyone. Dissolve yourself into gratitude. And be gratitude. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional Ganjing, or true respect and humility. And give Ganjing to everyone. Receive Ganjing from everyone. Dissolve yourself into Ganjing. And be Ganjing. Feel the five Shin in your heart, your pure heart. And in this state of purity, open up to your true self and invite it to manifest in your heart. Surrender to your true self and give it unconditional freedom to manifest all its awareness, true understanding, realization, wisdom, all its power, clarity, and bright light. Surrender to your true self. Your heart, consciousness, and true self are now unified. And in this state of unification, open once more to the universe and surrender unconditionally to the universe. Surrender your consciousness, surrender your heart, surrender your true self, so that in each thought or pattern, in each feeling or emotion, in each awareness, true understanding, realization, and wisdom, we become one with the laws of the universe and the infinite love and wisdom of the universe, so that we can accomplish the mission of Zidu Duren. Uplift yourself and help the others. We are now ready to learn together and grow together. Slowly, you can start to come back and gently open your eyes. Thank you, everyone, for your wonderful heart connection and building this chi field together. I was missing this already. So just give me here 1 second. Okay. So today we're gonna talk about a very special quality of our heart, forgiveness. We are doing the series of the 10 fundamental patterns of the consciousness, and we have faced 3 patterns up to now: the self-centeredness, the hiding and avoiding, and the fixed expectations. And at this stage, I felt that it was time to add an extra tool to help us to go through this work on the patterns, that is the quality of forgiveness. When we start to look at ourselves and we start to see the patterns, so be able to really see the patterns, what they are and what they do, it's very normal that we start to feel a lot of things like shame or guilty or feeling that we have done mistakes and many other things. They can come up, and we can very easily get stuck on that in our progress. Sometimes it's only when we gain more wisdom that we understand that some things that we have done, they were wrong. And that awareness, when we become aware of those mistakes, we might start to feel pain. And not just with ourselves, but also with other people around. Like an example, we might start to feel pain when we realize that the people that have educated us, so that could be our parents and other people, so adults, that they were responsible for guide us, to protect us, to nourishing us and give us some wisdom, some true understanding of life. In fact, they have not done exactly that. And the consequences of their mistakes have caused harm in our life, and we might feel pain because of that. And we can get very stuck on that. When we start to dig on the patterns that we have, we might look, oh, this pattern might have come from my family, this might come from my friends, this might come from my teachers. We can see that we have been triggering those patterns, or we have learned those patterns by the influence of other people. And we might even start to feel some resentment towards them, some anger sometimes, and we may be stuck on that moment. When we feel this pain, this pain that then becomes very present in our life, our attention becomes very focused on that because it's a natural reaction in humans, not just humans, but all the beings do that. When we feel pain, our attention, our awareness goes immediately focusing on that. It's like nothing else exists in life. We just become very, very stuck on that. Then, apart from the physical or the emotional experience of pain, and the fact that we become attached and we become stuck on that, our consciousness and the patterns of our consciousness start to create stories about that pain, and the emotions might also arise, some unhealthy emotions, and we might start to experience suffering. I can give you my personal experience. When I hurt my back, the pain was very intense. It's not that I could take my attention from that. I must say that every day, the thing that was more evident in my life was the pain. It was what was taking most of my energy and most of my attention. Together with that experience of pain, other things start to come. The doubt, self-doubt. Will my life improve? Will I able to heal? And then, of course, I will try to heal. And for such a certain amount of time, I was not having the progress that I expect. And the things were getting worse until, of course, I found the Renshui. But those things of trying my best to improve myself, and I was not having another result, that the results were not getting were not being what I expect. So the pattern of fixed expectations could be there. And the self-centeredness, of course, I start to experience a conflict with reality. And with that, I experience suffering. Pain is different from suffering. But normally we start to suffer because of pain. And when we experience pain, the most important thing that we do is to try to avoid it. And if we look to society, it's even medicine, it's so obvious, this pattern of avoidance, because the natural tendency is when we experience pain, they give us some painkillers. If it's physical, they give us painkillers for the body. If it's emotional, they give us painkillers for the emotions. And if it's mental, they do us some drugs to kill the mental pain. But by having that avoidance, it's difficult to find the true cause of that pain. And we just camouflage that by balance the pain with something that not just numbs the pain, but many times give us pleasure. And we start to enter in this duality of avoiding pain and searching for pleasure. And both of these extremes, they can cause a lot of attachment. I'm talking about these two terms, but this can be applied to all fields of life. Physical fields, so body, material possessions, social fields of life, relationships that need to be approved, to be loved, to be respected, to avoid failure, these kind of things. So social needs, also the needs on the more refined level, like the need for beauty in the world by art, by having an expression where we avoid the ugliness, if we can call it like that. We try to avoid the things that are not so pleasant in this expression artistic level, and we try to search for the things that give us more pleasure in that sense. This is a duality that is quite present in humans. And because this avoidance and search for creates an attachment, because when we find something that we have attachment, if we lose it, we suffer. And when we are facing pain and we cannot escape, we also suffer with that. So there is a strong attachment, and from that attachment, suffering will come. And in this search to escape from suffering, we do many things. And among the things we do a lot of mistakes. We try. No one, people can come with all kind of ideas, but unless people go inward and they do the true inner work to find their true self and open their heart and be in this unconditional state of existence, this unconditional state of the heart qualities, will not really get rid of suffering. But there are many theories in the world from where we can get rid of suffering, and many times is confused with pleasure. And in the process of trying to escape from the suffering, we do a lot of things, we try a lot of things that will create some kind of mistake. It's like I have a headache every day, and every day I take painkillers for the headache instead of finding the cause of the headache. And I get release from the pain. So releasing from the pain feels good, and I feel pleasure with that. And that can become an attachment. But because that is not the true source of getting rid of suffering, I keep using and abusing it until those same solution create me more problems. And then I look to myself and I say, oh, I have done so much harm to myself. I was so attached to that. And I create these problems by myself, or any other kind of things. There is one thing that is very clear for all the humans. Every human wants to be happy, without exception. Every woman wants to be happy. But not many humans have the ability to really be happy. They ignore how to do it. This is why we try so many things. And we try things that we need to try to understand that they don't work. When we see the consequences of that. So here is a very important component of forgiveness. In order to forgive, we need to acknowledge the mistake. This is very important. We need to acknowledge the mistake. We don't want to bypass the mistake. We don't want to ignore the mistake. We don't want to be tolerant to the mistake. We want to acknowledge the mistake as it is. If we want to forgive, it's important for us to be the most real possible. So we need to be real about what is happening. Of course, mistakes are always relative. And there is not such a thing as an absolute mistake. But we can easily see where there are things that can be improved, right? So if there is space for improve, it means there is some mistake happening still there, and it needs to be. We need to be very realistic about that. Accepting the mistake is it's an opportunity, first, to see the things as they are, second, to be able to correct them and grow from them. After we have this awareness and acceptance of the mistake, there is another component that needs to happen in order for forgiveness happen. Normally, when people see a mistake, they get stuck. And things can come like the need for revenge, the need for punishment, the need to have some resentment may arise. Or things can go into when this anger, all these manifestations of anger, they cannot be applied. Depression, sadness might arise. And if that inability of apply justice or relative justice that we want when someone does a mistake becomes very present, people might start to experience fear or anxiety or even panic attacks. This is what happens most of the times. There is a mistake, and that mistake causes pain. All these resentments, anger, sadness, fear, panic can come into our life, and we get stuck there. So accepting the mistake is enough. Accepting that there is a mistake is enough to forgive? No. Ignoring the mistake is forgiveness? No. Be tolerant with a mistake is forgiveness? No. Forgiveness will start to happen when, after having this awareness, this consciousness, this understanding that there is something that needs to be improved, we take the action, or we make the wish of seeing the best to happen. It's like, this is just a metaphor, but it's like someone slaps me in the face. I accept that. I accept, let's say that is a mistake. Maybe it's not, but but I will accept in that particular case, in this specific case, there was a mistake and that person slapped me in the face. I accept the reality and I look to the person and I know that there is space for improvement. I know that there is possible to be better and learn from that situation. So we take action for transformation. How is this transformation? It will depend on the situation, of course. But we see the best that can be happen from that situation. We see the best in the other person. We see the best in ourselves. Otherwise, forgiveness will not happen. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you forget. This is also another important thing. We have a memory. We don't forget things. Someone has accused me of something that was unfair. I don't for I don't forget that. I accept it, and I can see the the best on that situation. I can see that person, the potential of that person to grow and to understand. I can see what I can learn from that situation. I use that to put that all that situation has an opportunity to grow for myself and possibly for the others. But I always see beyond the action. I don't forget. I don't bypass it. I don't tolerate it. If I will tolerate, there will be no space for improvement. And the same mistake will keep repeating and repeating. And we'll be stuck on that. There will be a constant punishment. Most of the cases when we hurt someone that is meaningful for us, and we know that we have hurt that person, naturally we want to compensate for that in order to have the forgiveness from that person, right? I was doing something and I was not aware, but in the moment that I have done that thing, I hurt someone that was important for me, and I felt bad about that. And of course, I don't want that person to be in pain, and I want that person also to forgive me for that. What I do, I acknowledge my mistake, and I try to compensate for that, hoping that that person will be able to forgive me. Because that person can only really forgive me when that person sees my growth and sees my goodness inside. Although goodness is not the right word, but can see me beyond the mistake with the good and the growth and the improvement that I am doing from that situation. And then, of course, we implement that in our life, that learning. Is not that what happened with you? If someone is constantly doing the same mistakes and hurt you, are you able to forgive that person? But if that person has done a mistake and wants to improve, to do the best and transform that situation, learn from that, it becomes easier, right? So this second step, it's very important for us to be able to do forgiveness and to receive forgiveness. What is done is done. It cannot be changed anymore. We cannot go to the past and change our mistakes. And we cannot change the mistakes of our parents or the government or the politics or of anyone around there. We cannot change that anymore. Once it's done, it's done. But it can be improved. At some stage, it seems quite impossible that, because we look to someone and we don't see that that person wants to improve. And that will happen very often in life. So, how to deal with this situation? If someone does not have the capacity to, let's put the thing in this from this perspective, also as a metaphor. Let's say that you need a friend, a friend that runs a marathon in your behalf. So you need that. But that person is on the wheelchair, which means that that person does not have the capacity to run the marathon. But what you're going to do with that? Do you feel resentment towards that person? Do you feel angry towards that person? You will be unfriendly with that person? Of course not. Because in the perfect state of your beingness, you can acknowledge that that friend has no capacity to run the marathon. It has flaws that that person might not be able to uh, overcome. And even if that person is in a wheelchair, you can see beyond their capacity of running a marathon. For sure, there are the qualities that that person has that is making you to be your friend. It's just that that person cannot run a marathon, can do a lot of things, but not run a marathon. So, in this case, if you're gonna get stuck with that idea that that person must run a marathon for you, you will suffer. You will suffer, and if you think that that person is doing a mistake by not being able to run a marathon, you will punish that person and you will punish yourself. So, how to say this? You feel hurt because you are not able to see reality as it is. And then you suffer the consequences. There was an opportunity to learn from that situation. Yes, that person cannot run a marathon. You need to find another person to run a marathon for you that is able to do it. But not be able to acknowledge this is what creates suffering. Feel hurt about the thing that people cannot give you. It's a mistake, because we cannot ask to someone to run a marathon, someone that has no capacity to do it. We cannot ask for someone to respect us if that person does not have the capacity to respect us. Some can learn, some not. I believe that everyone can learn, but not everyone can learn at the right speed, at the same speed, and at the same level. So if someone is not giving us what we need, and that person does not have the capacity to do that, we need to find another solution in the way that we will not suffer ourselves and will not make the other person to suffer too. But if we acknowledge the person, the reality for what it is, and learn from that reality, that could be even a blessing for your life. If I have a friend that cannot run a marathon on my behalf because he's in the wheelchair, maybe I will learn to run a marathon by myself. And I will be happy with that. And the person that is in the wheelchair will feel respect because he's not being pushed, he's not being looking down or receiving anger from me because they cannot run the marathon. And the situation could be healed. And I for sure will see other capacities in that friend that apart from running a marathon, and be grateful for that and receiving blessings from that. So as you see, the forgiveness process is a process that can be quite complex. It's not a thing that is just simple, say, I forgive, that's it. It's not a word. It's awareness of reality and a learning from that awareness. A transformation in the uplifting direction of our life, learning from the situation and finding the goodness from that situation. And in this case, forgiveness needs to be a multi-direction process, because as you see from this example that I gave, there is not just one person that is doing the mistake or the perceived mistake. There is the person that has no capacity to do more at that given moment because he's in the wheelchair. And there is my own judgment of reality that was not able to see reality, and that great conflict. So in forgiveness, normally I refer for directions for it to happen in a more complete way. Ask for forgiveness. I will ask forgiveness to my friend in the wheelchair because I heard that person asking to do something that was not able to do it. So I need to ask forgiveness. I need to be able to receive the forgiveness from that person, because sometimes the other person is forgiving us, but we don't receive it. I need to give also forgiveness. In this case, could be to my friend or could be to myself. And the last step is self-forgiveness, because when there is a connection, there are mistakes from side to side. If in a conflict will be one person that has the complete understanding of that situation and clarity about that situation, there will be no hurt. People will not feel bad about anything, because it will bring wisdom and true understanding to that situation. And all the reasons to have conflict, all the reasons to be hurt will just be out. The causes will not numb the pain. We'll find the causes with the clarity and the wisdom and be able to transform them before they even hurt anyone. It needs just one person to do that. But when there is some hurt, the responsibility is for everyone that is involved. Some people have a bigger participation in the pain than others, but at the end, everyone is involved. It's like in this situation, the example that I refer, if I ask to a friend that is in a wheelchair to run a marathon, and then that person gets violent at me, and I feel a victim, I'm not a victim. I make a wrong judgment of that person. I was not able to see the situation with clarity, and I asked for something that was not reasonable, and that person got offended, and when got offended, react violent towards me, and I felt a victim because that person was my friend. The friends are supposed to run the marathons for me, and they are not doing it, and it was just an excuse being in the wheelchair. I could tell those stories to myself, to feel this negativity, this self-centeredness, maybe some hiding and avoiding, stubbornness, fixed expectations. You can name all the patterns here. At the end, what is hurting each other is not human, are just the patterns of humans and the lack of clarity of what they are doing. If there was true wisdom and true understanding, no one will get offended at first at all. There will still be mistakes, of course, but as soon the mistakes will happen, people will learn from that. It is like this forgiveness will happen in the moment that the mistake is happening. But that is not a very usual thing. When we see a mistake, we stay focused on the negativity about that mistake. And of course, self-centeredness too. And also some all the patterns are there. It's very rare to escape from one pattern when we are looking to the things from this perspective. So when we work on forgiveness, the awareness needs to be bigger than just this small mistake. We need to see the reality of the others, of the capacities of the others, of our own capacities, of our own reality. We do the best possible to do that and learn from that. Learn in the way that the next time we do less mistakes. Even when we have already a certain level of wisdom, mistakes will happen. They are just part of that. The patterns are there. They until they reflect the complete totality and the laws of the universe, the patterns will also always have some flaws that will manifest in mistakes. Those mistakes will cause effects, and those effects will generate more causes and more effects and more problems. You can see even just this aspect, we have someone hurt us because that person was manifesting some unhealthy state, some lack of understanding, some unhealthy emotion through the process. I don't know. Something was happening with that person in that moment. That person hurt me. And then I remain in the unhealthy state. Maybe my consciousness remains in negativity, and maybe my emotions remain in things like resentment or anger, and that can last for a very long time. So if we are in this state of anger and negativity at the same time because someone else has done a mistake, what do you think that will be to ours, how that will affect our life? What kind of resonance do you believe that you are in your life? What kind of experience do you believe that will happen in your life after that? If you are in a resonance with anger and negativity, do you believe that you will be able to experience a life of love and peace? Of course not. So getting stuck there will create even more problems, because if we are in that resonance, we'll naturally generate causes and effects on that level. And life will just connect with that level of life. Forgiveness requires action. This is very important to understand. Forgiveness requires action. Sometimes when we do a mistake, we want to compensate for that mistake, which is a good way to learn and grow and find forgiveness. But there is also another key aspect on that process that can tell you if you are really forgiving or not. Forgiving yourself in this case. So let's say I have done a mistake and I feel guilty. And because I feel guilty, I want to compensate for that mistake in order for the others to give me forgiveness. So I expect if I compensate, the other people will give me forgiveness. And I tell you this, that might never happen. Why? Because even if the other person forgives you, you are acting out of guilty and you are not forgiving yourself. But if you have done a mistake and hurt another person, and you want to compensate for that mistake, not because you feel guilty, not because you feel negative about yourself, but for the sake of love towards the other person, the sake of love towards yourself, and your purity in wanting to grow and learn from that situation. Do you see the difference? In this case, even if the other person will not forgive you, you are free. If you try to compensate, change something out of guilty, could be a start, but you need to transform that into love. But if you start out of guilty, the change that you experience in your life will not be a real change, will be a change conditioned by guilt. And that can only give you suffering. It's quite impressive because in society, using guilt as a process of changing behaviors is quite strong. Uh, as far as I know, I have seen that in all the cultures in the world. It seems that it's just a human pattern. Shame someone, make them feel guilty in order for them to change their behavior. The behavior that please us. Not the behavior, not to help them to change their patterns towards wisdom, towards realization, but in order to change their patterns, not their patterns, their behaviors, to please us. This is how society has been for quite a long time. That has never gave good results. Shame, guilt, mistakes are quite associated. I can be aware of a mistake and don't feel guilty. If you want to forgive, your transformation needs to be motivated by love, not by guilt, not by shame. It's not a shame to do mistakes, it's human. Even when people seem to do mistakes on purpose, the reality is that they are being controlled by their patterns. And at that stage, even on the surface, they might look that they should know better. Deep inside, their patterns don't know. It's like we all know that in the world, um, something that is quite associated with mistakes, with wrong things, with being wrong, is punishment. This is why a lot of people want to feel right, because who is wrong receives punishment and is guilt and is shameful. Have you ever wanting to be right? And then there are two people that they have different views from something and they both want to be right. And I can only be right if the other is wrong. And if the other is wrong, deserves a punishment, and I win. Does the punishment is effective? It will depend. If the punishment comes associated with shame and guilt, it will not be very effective. It will create even more damage. If the punishment comes with love, true understanding, and grow, then can be effective. But do we need a punishment to be correct? To change things? No. The awareness of doing a mistake is already it can feel already as a punishment. This is why people even avoid to see that they are doing mistakes. They cannot accept that they are doing mistakes because accepting that they are doing mistake can feel like a punishment. So the pattern of hiding and avoiding jumps in and don't want to do that. So changing the perspective and the view about this is important. There is a mistake, there is a correction. There is no need to see this awareness as something negative, like losing, being not good enough, shame, guilt. Doubts can come in. If we do a mistake, we very easily start to experience doubt. What more can arise? Fear, depression, hopeless sense, a sense of hopeless, of being hopeless. Those things are horrible. Those things create a suffering in our life. And that happened because we don't want to accept the mistake and see it as something negative. We don't want to accept that we need to improve. It's like that I have seen already some people get offended. There is nothing wrong with their life, or relatively not wrong, of course. But they are doing something, and let's say I know something that can help them to improve, and I tell them that, and they get offended. Why? Why is so hurtful to receive information that help us to improve? Why? Why is if someone tells us some information that can help us to improve, why we feel bad? Especially if we are doing something that we think that we are already good. Why can feel so bad to receive help? That is the same like before. Accepting that there is space for our growth, or better, not accepting the opportunity to grow, the information to grow, it's a sign that there is something inside us that we are not forgiving. Not being able to receive the love from the others, even when the love comes in a different way that we expect it, it's a sign that there is something that needs to be forgiven. When we negate ourselves to grow, and sometimes can be in a very subtle way, there is a sign that something needs to be forgiven. Because what can be a bigger punishment than not growing? Can you imagine? What do you think is worse, going to jail or not growing in life? If you ask to myself, to me, what you prefer, not growing more in your life or going to jail and be tortured, but you will reach the highest level that any human can reach. I will prefer the other, the one that goes to jail. Because the truth is that the suffering comes from our lack of wisdom, our lack of growth. And if we don't grow, we will be punished by ourselves. If we do self-punishment, is because there is some kind of understanding that we deserve it. And if we believe that we deserve punishment, it's because we have found that we have done something wrong. And we are attached to that. We might even have forgotten what it is that. But we are searching for that punishment. And we keep trying to compensate from that because we feel guilt, because we feel shame. And we might even forget it, that we feel guilt or shame. I have gone through that experience myself, like everyone. We have done something wrong at the moment that we have done it, we were not realizing that was that wrong. Then after that, after we realize, we start to feel the guilt, and after we feel the guilt, we try to compensate from that. But we search for punishment in that process. Most of the times is that how we try to compensate for it with punishment. It's like I slap someone in the face and I feel that I can only be forgiven, or I can only be, the things where only can be even when that person slaps my face back. This is a very old sense of justice that humans have. When someone hurt us, they should receive what they have done to us so that they know what they are doing. Punishment. In the same way, or even worse, of what we have received. And we do the same to ourselves when we do a mistake towards the others. I slap that person needs to slap me. Do this will really solve the problem? No. If I slap that person and that person feels really hurt, and I believe that I only be forgiven when that person slaps me back, that might be a no-end situation. Because if we don't learn from this situation, if we don't grow, if we don't heal this situation, I might feel guilty for 10,000 years. And for 10,000 years, that person, if still feels angry, might be slapping me every day. So I give one slap and I receive millions of slaps from that. Because there was no growth. There was no transformation. There was no healing. So, do you believe that this idea of punishment is, in order to make justice, is correct? It will come to an end? No. Will not. Only wisdom and healing can bring the things to an end. If that doesn't happen, true forgiveness will not happen. If I slap someone in the face and I don't understand the true causes that make me to take that action, if I don't heal myself on that and transform that and grow from that experience, and if I don't show to the other person and touch the heart of the other person and help the other person to heal from the slap that received, that will not solve anything, and forgiveness will not happen. It will be like a ping pong game that I slap you, you slap me, I slap you, you slap me. Will have no end. We can slap each other 10,000 times, and there is no one that grows and gets out from that resonance. It will keep going. The hurt will keep going. The mistake will keep repeating itself. And you can imagine how clear this is in humanity. People point mistakes. People want to punish for mistakes. People want justice. What is this justice? Is to punish, is to make to feel guilty, to make change behavior, but not the pattern. And if you cannot change behavior, we create restrictions. You may be put in jail or things like that, but no healing at all. What kind of forgiveness is that? The forgiveness of hiding and avoiding, where we hide the problem and we avoid the problem, we don't touch the problem, but as long as it's far away, I don't get hurt, and that is what is important. What kind of forgiveness is that? So remember always this. Forgiveness happens when the change is motivated by love and true understanding, and there is a real growth, and there is a healing of the causes that create the problem, that create the mistake. Action is needed, and the action is not an action of hiding and avoiding, it's not the action of self-centeredness, it's not an action of negativity, it's not an action of revenge, of punishment. It's not living in a resonance of guilt or shame or resentment or fear or depression. Any of those will create attachment, and attachment will create suffering. Forgiveness happens by accepting the mistake with clarity, by not taking the mistake as something personal. If we take the mistakes like that, that is self-centeredness. Not taking the mistake as something completely wrong. If we do that, we'll be looking at the mistake as a polarized thinking. We don't look to the mistake as it should not have been happen. If you look at that like this, we look to the mistake from the perspective of fixed expectation, Or if we look to the mistake as something bad, we look at the mistake from the perspective of negativity. And of course, more patterns come into play. And all these patterns together, they are not just isolated, they work together to create an experience of that mistake. And those patterns are not your true self. And those patterns will not help you to heal the situation that needs to be healed. And they will perpetuate the problem. And they will create more harm and more pain and more suffering. So accepting the mistake with a very neutral awareness, looking to the mistake as something that needs to be improved. With a presence, with clarity, without rejecting, without attaching to it. Just look to the things as they are. By observing the causes, the effects, the reactions, the perspectives from the other person, from ourselves, from someone that is not there, from someone that is neutral, etc. We looked from the things from different perspectives to see it as more complete as possible for us, with our limitations, with our capacities, but we do that effort to see the things with the most clear awareness and to gain true understanding from that situation. When we see that there is something that needs to improve, out of love, not out of guilt, not out of shame, but out of love, we take action. The action to improve what needs to improve, to heal what needs to be healed, and grow from that situation. When this happens, forgiveness will happen, and you will detach. You will lose a burden in your back. All those heavy burdens that we carry in our back, we can get rid from them like that, so that we can manifest our true human nature without wanting to punish or damage anyone, neither ourselves, neither the others. We free ourselves from those painful mistakes. And when we do that, as I said before, when we are able to apply this forgiveness, we apply it in the 4 directions that I mentioned. So ask for forgiveness, give forgiveness, receive forgiveness, and self-forgiveness. And we move on. Okay. So this was a brief introduction to the theme of forgiveness. There is much more to do about it. It's a very deep theme that we can go very deep and analyze it to the perspective of the connection, also of all the other hard qualities, and also the process of forgiving, the relationship with the patterns of the consciousness, and the challenges that might arise from that situation, and also the perspective of the laws of the universe and how to forgiveness can help us to align our life more with wisdom and the laws of the universe. So for the first class, we stop here. Now is time for the integration and healing of this first class. Okay, adjust yourself to a good position with your spine straight, your body centered. Look straight forward and slowly bring your awareness inward. Close your eyes and relax. 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 Your body is melting away. Your awareness becomes clear and bright, and your heart becomes vibrant. In your heart, the five shin become alive. Unconditional trust, openness, love, gratitude, and Gonjing. The unconditional five shin, connecting and being one with the five shin of the universe. And with the five shin, we connect with a state of forgiveness. The forgiveness that becomes aware of the problem, and in the problem can see the best, the growth, the transformation, the love, the wisdom. So with the utmost love, we're going to bring the state of forgiveness to the different parts of our body. We start to bring this state to your head, the eyes, nose, mouth, the ears, all the head and face, the neck, chest, the lungs, heart, the spleen, stomach, and pancreas, the liver and gallbladder, the small and large intestine, kidneys, bladder, the spine, the sexual and reproductive organs, the hips, upper legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, and feet. To your shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, and hands. Go back to your heart, and in the state of forgiveness, bring forgiveness to yourself. In all levels of your being, in your physical level, the chi level, the heart level, consciousness level, social level, and spiritual level. There is nothing in your life that cannot be forgiven. And in forgiveness, out of love, you will grow, finding more wisdom through understanding, clarity, realization, and healing. Embrace forgiveness in every moment of your life. Open your arms to the sides, palms facing forward. Embrace all the chi and positive information and bring it back to your heart. Put your hands in your heart and integrate all the chi field and information in your heart. Hands to the sides, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much, everyone. So, this was a very brief introduction to forgiveness. It's far from complete. We only have touched a few topics in a very briefly way. But we're gonna go deeper and deeper because the world to need more forgiveness is enough to negate our own growth and focus in punishment and resentments and anger and fear that is being in humanity for such a long time. Humans are not the problem of the world. Ignorance, it is the problem. And the only way to fight ignorance is through wisdom. Is the only antidote. Through the working on our awareness, in gaining more true understanding, gaining more realization, and generate wisdom, is how we can transform the things. And all the humans have potential for wisdom. Making the other people suffer because we suffer has no bring any healing to the world. And we have caused harm to each other so many times. We don't need to perpetuate this harm. It is not by harming others that the problems will disappear. It is by true growth and wisdom that can help us to heal all the ignorance and find peace and freedom within, where humans can really come together and cooperate as a true family, where we help each other to grow and generate more wisdom and more health, more well-being. So I invite you to use these classes and this chi field to do your best to work on forgiveness in yourself and forgiveness for the world, and in this process improve and increase the resonance and the information of forgiveness in the world, so that we can really start to heal and transform life. Because when we try to compensate without wisdom, without love, compensate out of fear or anger or guilt, we end up to generate more problems for ourselves and for the others. So true forgiveness needs to come and needs to manifest. And I trust on you to do your best to start with your own self-forgiveness and forgiving the others. And embrace this in the way that all together we can raise the vibration and the information of forgiveness in the world. So for today it's all. Next week, as you know, we have the class that will be the questions and answer class. So we'll do one week with the lecture and another week with questions and answers. So you can write me questions, or you can ask the questions on the chat when we are live in the class. And on Tuesdays, we have the Zoom meetings where all the participants of the course can meet there if they will like to. I will send you the links with the Zoom links for you if you want to join on those meetings. And those meetings are an opportunity for all the participants to know each other and also to have the chance to share, to find help in each other, to help each other in this process of working in this theme of forgiveness. So for every week I will give a task or a question or something to guide on those meetings. And there will be 3 meetings, 3 hours that you can meet. And they are in the Portuguese time, in the Portuguese time zone. So one will be at 7 a.m., the other at 5 p.m., and the other at 8 p.m. You can participate in one of the groups or in all the groups if you like to. And this is not mandatory, but you are very welcome to do it so that you meet other participants and you help each other. Okay, so it's all for today. Sending you much love to everyone, and see you next week. Bye bye.